What up guys, it's n0thing Gilbert and welcome back to MDL Pro Tips powered by Mountain Dew Game Fuel. Today we're going to be talking about mistakes to avoid on Dust 2, more specifically the CT side, so let's jump right into it. The first thing I'm going to talk about here is long A, and things I want you to focus on with spawn and how powerful this best spawn is for long A. Now when you're playing A with your teammates, obviously a lot of times in matchmake you call, hey, I'm the long A player, the cat player. It shouldn't really work like that. Ideally you should all be playing A together. Yes, someone should be staying big pit. Yes, you should probably have a dedicated opper. But ideally the person with this spawn right here, the best long spawn, is just doing just this. Now the key is you don't want to ever be not leaving spawn right when freeze time ends. You want to be leaving spawn instantly, otherwise you're wasting this spawn. So what you're trying to do here is you're trying to get to this corner at long to pre-Molotov, and I didn't even buy one, but you get the point, as fast as possible right there, right? If it lands off the door or whatever, you just want to stop their rush as fast as possible, and the good thing about that molly is it forces them to smoke this out, obviously, right? So the best spawn, you can't waste it. Even if you don't want to throw that molly, you just want to cross the big pit, you need to take advantage by leaving out of spawn right away, taking a direct route to this corner, and hooking a tight turn and making sure you're running flush with this wall fast. If you even take a split second or a half second too late out of spawn after freeze time, this guy could be out long and the round could literally be lost with just that delay. So make sure you're running instantly out of spawn, but more importantly, taking the right route. The next important thing I want to say is if you're not going to pre-molly, make sure you do have a flash lined up. So if you're solo queuing and you don't know if someone can have a flash ready for you, you might want to just focus on playing more of a solo style, which is something like this. So if I'm running up by myself, I'm always going to stop at the corner and flash like that and try to go for a kill and then fall back. And if you think that's not possible versus the level of players and the type of long rush you're doing, like I said, try to get one of your teammates at long to throw a flash like this or somewhere out here to the left just to help you while you're running up in the beginning, because that will mean a way easier long take if you can get those flashes. So I guess the two most important things are not running the right route and not having a pre-molly, and then not having a flash to go if you don't have the pre-molly, all right? So that's mainly the three things for long. There's a lot of nuances to how you can set up a long. That's not for this video. Catwalk. Two things for catwalk. Understanding where the terrorists can be and at what point, and knowing when to fight or leave. So if the T's are, if you run the long way to cat and you don't get a boost, basically, by the time you get here, right about here, the T's can already be here, right? So you want to make sure if you're running up to this corner fast, that you realize, A, that something like this might be happening. They might be throwing a flash like this, in which case you got to be ready for that. You got to be listening for the sound of that bank, in which case you want to be turning and getting close. And two, that they could simply be up, and if you have a teammate behind you, you want to be throwing a flash to delay them and ideally asking, hey, can you flash cat for me again? Because they'll probably turn from that, stop here, and then be waiting. And if your teammate behind you could throw flash out wide, you could be peeking. So you want to know where the T's are at and when, and obviously come up with some sort of plan to stop them. Second of all, knowing when to fight or leave. If you're playing Catwalk right here and you don't have a smoke and you're by yourself, then you should probably think about playing a spot more passive like this, where you can spot or fall, or even better in a lot of ways, somewhere right here, because when you shoot at them, you can kind of spot and fall back and stay alive and have another chance at a fight right away and get info. That's more important. The other time when you know you should leave is if your team has long control. You don't need to be worried about holding down cat, because you guys can still hold A from back here. So if your team has long A control, don't feel like you need to lock cat just because you're the cat player. Playing spots like this and getting a kill if they don't flash and being able to fall if they do flash is a great way to have us play a spot that can get info and potentially get a kill. Next thing's up. Middle. Guys, crossing middle. The amount of times I see people take damage because they just run across the middle like this, or they jump across like this. Mix up. If you're not going to throw a smoke, which I'll show you the best one in a second. If you're not going to throw a smoke, make sure you're mixing it up the way you crossed. A lot of times I just like to go across the top like this, or come across the bottom sometimes and cross B. Different ways each round, so it's not easy for the sniper to hit you. And second of all, if you can, ideally the person who should throw this smoke is your A opper, because he doesn't really need the smoke. It's your two riflers who need it. If you can't throw it, it's fine, but someone should be throwing just a simple smoke like this, because then the guy opping T-spawn can't see you cross. You could run straight through it or whatever. It's a lot easier. All right? Last thing for middle, keeping it pretty brief here, is if you're going to play a spot behind any of the doors close right here, always try to have a smoke ready. Because if the T's are going to throw a Molotov that banks close, a lot of times they're throwing it because they want to flush you out into their peak. So rather than have to fall into their crosshair, have a smoke if you're playing here. If you don't have a smoke, think of playing more passive spots like this or like this, so that if they come into your crosshair, then you're at least in a fight that complements the utility you have. Maybe you can fall back, get creative, throw a flash like this. Same over here. You can do fall back, flash peeks, whatever, or just simply stay alive and not get flushed out by a Molotov, right? Take a sip of water and on to B. B players. 3 key things I want to talk about. Pre-mollying or pre-smoking instantly, having a counter flash planned, and spotting if you're alone and not just hiding. All right. So first things first. If you're the B player, you want to have a Molotov. Let me give myself. You don't want to not pre-molly or pre-smoke instantly. So if you're the main B player, you can come from window. But my second point will be more important. You want to get this molly off right away, no matter where you're coming from. Because if they're rushing, that's going to make things 1,000 times easier on you because they have to put the smoke out, and that's your indicator to use your flash. So if you have no molly, definitely come here and smoke shallow. You don't want to smoke deep, because if you just smoke deep and they decide to rush, that smoke doesn't do anything. Because if they flash, you can't play in front of the smoke anyways to kill them running through it. And if you're playing back here, they're not running through smoke anyway, so the power of them coming through a smoke, which is their vision blurred, is not there. So if you have only a smoke, make sure you're throwing it shallow and immediately, not like that. Make sure you're throwing it shallow and immediately turning your head till you're ready for my next point, which is having a counter flash planned. If you come through window or door, no matter what, you always want to have a counter flash planned. So let's say you go through door, throw my molly or my smoke. If I'm turning my head if they rush. If I think they're rushing, I'm going to be able to have a flash planned right away, which would be something like this. I hit the wall, you throw a flash like that and come out and peek with it. If you think they're rushing, you could turn and just simply throw that and sit in the corner. I don't like that one. I think it's kind of poor. My favorite, to be honest, as the main B player, is I go platform through window. And I Molotov like this. And if I hear the smoke right away, I throw this flash. And I could peek with it there. The reason I like that one is my door player could fight with me. And it doesn't blind him. If I know my teammate's going closet, what I try to do is just throw like a flash like this off the platform box. Oops, not like that. Just like that. And fight like this. Because I know it'll max half blind me. And it won't blind my guy fully in closet if he's over here. If he goes car, I don't necessarily even need to throw a flash. But what I'll do is if I throw the molly, I'll still turn. And I'll hide here for a second. And I'll just peek like this. Because if you peek too wide, their flash here is going to hit you. So you want to just peek here. If you peek here, their flash that I show in the T-side video of this video is going to blind you from this side. So you want to make sure if you're not going to throw a flash because your teammate's closet, you just peek a little crack right here and spam through the lane as the smoke is up. Last but not least, the other thing that I think you should avoid doing is just simply hiding when you're alone. If you have a B player with you somewhere close and you want to hide in a spot like this, or like this, or like this, it's not bad if you have 2B, right? Like say you have a window player who's like watching mid like this and he's like coming to help you. Then at least you guys can get a couple kills. But if you're playing like that and they happen to clear you, they have the site for free and they're not going to trade, right? If your teammate's like down here. So my suggestion is always be playing like a site spot like this where you're spotting. This is an alright one. I prefer this one because you can kind of strafe more. And if they come, you have the variety of flashes to throw. You can throw something, you know, and delay a lot. You could smoke yourself out. Flash in the smoke. Backpedal, not that flash, something out there. You can just do weird things and stay alive. But when you're playing by yourself in the bomb site, I think you should always be trying to spot like little cracks, because now what happens is it's not just for your benefit, but if you say, boom, they're coming B, now what happens is this guy who's not helping you could run in and throw flashes and help you and has time, and you don't just die instantly on contact like you would if you were to play a spot like this. Yes, you could get a multi-frag, but if you kill one or don't kill any, you probably are losing the sight and most likely the round instantaneously. Alright guys, I hope this video provided benefit for you. Watch out for these things, learn from these things, and focus on what I said, and you'll have a higher success rate playing solo queue or with a team.